some wraps, and she has the legendary trail mix stuff again, and some chocolate and water and whatever. So if you want to grab a plate of whatever before you sit down, I think that would be okay if we kind of do a workup. I think some really important work, and we've made great progress so far, so looking forward to it. So Dr. Quist.
Thank you, Scott. Good evening, everybody. Good to be here. Gail and Jeff, and we're happy to be back for our third, and we might add final work with you. You'll appreciate that too. Once we leave our work tonight, we hope to bring a draft back to the district early next week. That will eventually go to the board, I think, on the 19th, Scott, is that right? And then maybe for final action in July. So we'll have a close to a final working product for you early next week, and then a final draft for later on there too. So our goal tonight is really the core of what we were talking about in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. We're going to come back and work through our belief statements, our mission, and our vision statements, and make sure that we reach agreement on that, try to find common ground, and that'll be the first thing that we do tonight. And then we're going to move into developing goals around each of those focus areas that you have at your table there. And then the third activity for tonight is around each of those goals that you develop for that focus area will be to develop objectives that help us attain those goals. So it's kind of a pyramid approach. We have that focus area, then we're going to have 1 or 2 goals below that, and then objectives supporting each of those goal areas. And that will provide a governance blueprint to the board for work over the next 3 to 5 years here. So that is really our work tonight. Once again, our promise is to be out of here by 8:30. Please take breaks as you need to. And it'll be, as it has been in the past, a pretty interactive, small group sharing type activities. If you look on your, if you grab your packet there, let me work through what you have there. You have a copy of the PowerPoint for this evening. I think one of the keys here, there are some samples in there that you may want to use as you go through both goal development and objective development. And then you have a single sheet on the working draft for belief, mission, and vision. We'll come back to that in a minute here. And then you have some additional samples of goal and objectives. We're trying to provide some aids there that might assist your work at each of your focus areas in terms of what a goal may look like, and consequently what objective would look like as well. And then on your table, you have 2 other documents that you've received before. One is the Stakeholder Engagement Report, and the other is the summary of the plus delta information. And once again, you may find this useful as you start working back through your goal development, things that just might reinforce some ideas that you're talking about or visiting on. So please use that as needed. Any questions on the evening? Okay. If you want to grab your working draft of belief, mission, and vision, we're going to have a discussion around these. I think there's a lot of agreement when we met last time here. So really what we're going to throw out here is that under belief statements, we have one typo there, and that's the first one. All students should be offered an educational, AN, not AND. So just a correction there. We'll make sure that's changed for final draft and everything. And then we had 10 belief statements that you kind of all agreed to were important. And through our voting process, these are the ones that showed up. All others had 2 votes or less. So these are the 10 that we are trying to focus on here. And I think what we're doing is just open up for comment and then see if we have agreement that these are the right 10. We have the ability to make changes if it feels that way. So thoughts or comments on those 10 belief statements that you have in front of you? Everybody seem pretty comfortable with those? think from our vantage point, that they're a strong set of belief statements, so they felt good to us. So if we're comfortable with that, let's move on to the mission. And we have two here. One, and we voted on this once again too. The mission of Marshall Public Schools is to educate, support, prepare lifelong learners for success, or change that to or all, and that received 17 votes. And the second option is to develop the academic, social, and personal skills of all students to be confident and successful. That received 6 votes. So there was, last time we connected, there was a stronger support for the first one there. Once again, let's open up for discussion, thoughts, comments.
I would like to propose an addition to the first one. And what I did is I took example 3 and example 4 and I put it together. In partnership with community.
Can I hold that up for you?
Prepare each student. The partnership has been here. It's been here as long as we've been here. It's time to acknowledge that partnership. The community is very involved. Look at the number of things that this community has done for our young people, our students, anybody that wants to learn. Have we got any better facilities? We got more ballparks than most counties have got. We've got a new indoor facility for ice for everybody, replacing another old one that the community built. The list goes on and on how this community has been involved in educating kids and preparing them for whatever. I think it's time to acknowledge that and include community in some type of mission statement.
So let me, just to clarify here, because the second part here doesn't match up
No, you can use anything you want in the second part.
Okay.
I'm trying to say I'd like to add.
the community of partnership part. Thoughts or reactions to that?
Would it be better to put the community, put something about the community in the vision statement? Would that make, I mean, I'm just don't.
Yeah, I think it could go either place, yeah. They both make a statement, so it could work there too.
I think it needs to be acknowledged. And let the community know that.
And,
How many people in the community really know that?
and certainly a lot of your discussions included partnership, so it's, Jeff?
Yeah, just, I mean, you can look at your belief statements as well, and I'm not saying that this trumps what you're trying to say, but you do have your second bullet belief statement in the value of building and maintaining strong community partnerships. Now, I don't know if that says what you want to say or not. And the sixth one as well.
Is that,
Say it as many times as you want.
so you'd still like it in one of the mission or vision?
Like it in the mission.
Okay. Thoughts from the group?
I think Art's statement, last comment is right on. You can't say it too often, that this
The partnership idea, yeah.
partnership.
Are people comfortable with adding it to the front stem of the number 1 mission there? In partnership with the community, educate, support, prepare lifelong or all learners for success. Or you could put it at the back end too, educate, support for all lifelong learners for success by partnering with the community.
Front end.
You like the front end better? Okay. Everybody comfortable with that? Okay.
I mean, I agree with that, maybe we just need to change the verbiage around.
It needs a little work,
Partnership
right?
with the community, educate and prepare each student to succeed, or for success. I feel like there needs to be some words in between, in partnership with the community. Yeah, there needs to be something a little more to it.
Okay.
But I like the partnership piece with the community, we just need to massage it a little bit.
Okay. So if we take some time, put a draft together using all that, we'll bring it back to the group here. Is that comfortable with everybody? We'll honor both the partnership part and also that first version of the mission too. So with trying to make sure it flows well. And then the vision statement, once again. Let me go back to mission. There's some discussion about lifelong versus all learners. In any sense of where you'd like to be on that?
I really like the word all. I think lifelong I'm not even sure that I understand what it might mean to different people, so, you know, our vision, I think, is really kind of all.
Yeah, and I think from our experience, it's going toward a more of an inclusive word, such as all. That reflects what we see too. Are people comfortable with that? Okay. Back to the vision then. We have two, to be the premier school district where every student is inspired every day. That received 12 votes. Empowering student growth through innovative approaches, 8 votes. Once again, kind of open for discussion, comments. Does number 1 seem comfortable with everybody? We're good? Okay. So we'll make, just to summarize then, we'll make the change on the first belief statement there, so we correct that. And then we'll bring the two pieces together, partnership and mission statement 1. And then we are, the group chose the vision statement, the first one there. So we talked about, do you want to do this? Yeah. Okay. There, we're going to change equipment here. No, it's the other way.
Okay, so here's where we're at with the entire process. We really believe that at the end of the day, you need to have a flexible strategic plan. It was interesting, driving over this afternoon, I heard former Governor Pawlenty on WCCO, and he was talking about the fact that how rapidly the world is changing in a variety of different ways. And I can't even remember what kind of area he's involved in right now, or kind of a think tank business. But when you think about it, the strategic plan is going to set a direction for 5 years. But you're going to need to come back and revisit it often, because things change, they change rapidly, and it's going to require flexibility and adaptability. So we will have a strategic plan. You'll have some very clear goals and objectives. But we're going to also talk as we move forward about the need to revisit, adapt, and modify as things change, because they are going to change, and they're going to change quickly. We also are going to talk about something called action plan considerations, because as we move forward and talk about goals and objectives for the strategic plan, there's kind of a cascade approach. You move from your beliefs, mission, and vision into your focus areas, into your goals, into your objectives. So we want to make sure, though, that we're not spending time tonight trying to solve all the problems right down at the grassroots level. So you may have some really good ideas. Rather than spend time trying to debate or solve those really good ideas that kind of get down in the weeds out, what we're going to say is record those on your sheet as action plan considerations. So if you look at the back of the form that we just looked at, you'll see that there are the 6 focus areas that you're at your tables at right now. We're going to be writing 1 or 2 goals under each of those focus areas. And for each goal, we're going to write several objectives. And we're going to talk more about what those goals and objectives are all about as we move forward. But if you get some really, idea that you think might be a great idea to consider, we're going to ask you to put that down under the action plan consideration. So we don't want to lose those ideas, but we also don't want to spend so much time kind of down here with the solutions that we don't get our goals and objectives written. Remember then that once this document comes back that you have just been looking at, that's going to be a working draft strategic plan governance document. That's going to come back to the administration and the school board in June for review. And then there may be some slight modifications and some things that could change. But then that document will come forward as a final strategic plan to the July meeting of the school board for their potential adoption. And then once that's done, it goes to the administration and staff to develop action plans, which are the really specific steps and things that need to occur over the next 6 to 18 months in order to start working towards achieving those goals and objectives. So questions from anybody on that part of the process? So here's what we're going to be working on tonight. And again, this gets at kind of the meat at setting direction. What the school district wishes to accomplish are the goals, and steps taken by the school district designed to help meet the goal are objectives. Objectives sometimes are referred to as enabling goals. As you start thinking about putting objectives under your goals, and we're going to, again, work our way through that over the next hour and a half or two, what we're going to say is try to put those in a logical step-by-step approach that you'd say, if we're going to achieve that goal, this has to occur, then this has to occur, then this has to occur. That's what enables the opportunity to achieve the goals that you've set. So again, we talked about flowing from the top. Beliefs, mission, and vision set the stage for your goals and objectives. Goals describe the hoped-for outcome. They're broad, long-range targets. They reflect the analysis of school district needs. So Terry talked about earlier on your table again, the stakeholder engagement report and the plus-delta analysis. That can give you some sense in your particular focus area about some of the things that were deemed important. They should include broad buy-in. And again, I mentioned they tie into the plus-delta analysis and stakeholder input. These are just some examples. We try to give you lots of examples, much like we did when we were talking about belief statements, mission statement, and vision statement. So here are some. The third bullet is an example for student achievement and student support. Increase the academic achievement of all students through effective instruction, a challenging and engaging curriculum, and aligned assessments. Achieve the goals of the world's best workforce for all students in the school district. And I don't know, Scott, if you had a chance to hear Dr. Melcher a couple of days ago. Yep. Tom Melcher from the state of Minnesota. They did kind of the latest update. And there are some changes in the world's best workforce. They're not huge changes, but one of them that I think is really important is one of the 5 goals of the world's best workforce is to have all students reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade. Well, now what has to happen is each year thereafter that students aren't reading at grade level, you have to have an individualized, basically, intervention plan to say, so what are we going to do to bring that student who's in 4th grade or 5th grade or 6th grade and not reading at grade level up to reading at grade level? So this is one that we promised that the school board and Superintendent Monson that we would have in place. So we want to make sure that one of the goals for that group is meeting the goals of the world's best workforce. Facilities and finance provide teaching and learning environment that's flexible and meeting and accommodating a variety of learning situations. Having a strong financial foundation that supports the achievement of school district goals. I'm sure that you'd really like that one. Bruce, right? You think that's probably important? Absolutely. Ensure the facilities and infrastructure of the school district are designed to optimize student learning in a safe, sustainable, and attractive environment. Those are some that we've seen recently. Enrollment and marketing. Effectively engage parents and other community stakeholders in order to build awareness of the quality of education provided by the district. Timely, accurate, and relevant information. One of the things that we see a lot as we've been out in districts now in terms of that whole enrollment and marketing piece is that you have targeted information plans because people have such a widely different way of gaining information today. So I think of my mother-in-law, and I tell this story somewhat in honor of Dr. Quist, but also because it kind of irritated me. When I was a superintendent in St. Peter and I'd go back to visit my mother-in-law in Alexandria, she would have the monthly Alexandria newsletter on the kitchen table highlighted with all of the things that she thought we should be doing in the St. Peter School District. So thanks, Terry.
You definitely get those as well. I don't know who sends them to me, but I get them in the mail twice a year. So thanks a lot, Terry.
But the point of that is my mother-in-law has no technology, has no internet, wouldn't find any way of having any sort of social media communication. Now, my 2 youngest children have no landline, have no cable, but their connection is all via social media, so and everything in between. So you really do need to have that targeted communication plan in order to reach all of your audiences so that everybody understands what's happening in the school district. The 21st century school district transformation. We hear a lot today about personalized plan of progress for each student, rigorous and relevant curriculum at all levels. The idea of having students graduating and moving through your system so that ultimately everybody is in a position where they're career, college, and life ready. So those are some things that again, we're hearing a lot of discussion on and seeing a lot of discussion in the districts that we work with. Technology, maximizing the use of technology to enhance the work of staff and increase the academic achievement of all students. This is one we hear a lot about in districts, that yeah, you can have lots of tools, but in the end of the day, are your tools really designed to get at student achievement and student learning? And so I think that there needs to be an eye on that as you talk about technology in school districts today. Workforce, identify, recruit, develop, and retain quality employees. There are some changes now, again, in the new legislation, at least for now, unless the governor gets a special session and some things change. But what we see right now is there are some changes in the teacher licensure system that allow a lot more flexibility for hiring teachers in Minnesota, particularly in some of the hard-to-fill areas, career and technical education, for an example. Maybe higher level math or science is another example. So that's something that districts are really struggling with around the state in terms of finding highly qualified people to work in their schools. There is now more flexibility. And again, there are some differing opinions on that. I think some of the organizations around the state would say that maybe isn't a good thing, but it's in law right now. So, you should be thinking about, what do you know about the topic area, your focus area? What improvements would be needed in that area? And then think about writing a goal. And you don't necessarily need that STEM. You've got kind of in front of you here. But for your area of facilities and finance, or enrollment and marketing, or student achievement and student support, write at least one goal, and then we're going to get to where you put that on the chart paper and post it. Now, we'll also say that normally we then go to objectives and start talking about objectives, and that's what we will do. Sometimes groups get done early, and if you're there, just kind of connect with one of us, and we'll talk you through maybe moving into that objective stage a bit earlier. So before we go, Terry or Gail, any additional comments you want to make?
Should we look at this? This is the mission you want to...
Yeah, sure.
We just did a little bit of a quick rewrite. Maybe Jeff, do you want to just hang on to the other side as long as we... So mission of the Marshall Public School... Oh, sorry. We did a quick rewrite here for you, incorporating community. So the mission of the Marshall Public Schools is to partner with the community in educating, supporting, and preparing all learners for success. How does that sound to the group? Yep. I'm height challenged here. So how about if I read it again for you? The mission of the Marshall Public Schools is to partner with the community in educating, supporting, and preparing all learners for success.
How's that do for you?
Like that?
Could we say to educate, support, and prepare rather than the aims? It
We-
feels like it, then it's
Okay. Terry and I bounced that back and forth too. And the only reason we did this is because it was Marshall Public Schools is mission is too many twos. But you know, that's really something we can clean up. I guess it's
Or we
yeah,
can take the STEM out and just put mission statement.
right.
Good with that?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll change it to educate, support, and prepare.
Sure,
Okay.
we can do that. Perfect. Great.
All right, thank you. All right, any questions about the next steps?
Are we doing these individually and then sharing with the group? Or-
You know, I think, normally our nice process, kind of, we say individually in group, then everybody starts talking everywhere. So just start together. Get at it. Group discussion. And you guys... I'll give it to you. Can you turn it? You did your homework, you can share that as well.
Find one of those things.
Unless I look at the inquiry after development line, people on leave, but that's why they told me all that, but it's like,
That's what I want.
We'll start with the action plan and work backward to the goal. And then we'll go from the action plan to the objective.
That's the same thing. Do they even have those? Maybe in Nebraska.
And with the starting.
Ask you when you check out. I've heard people need She'll think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we're just going to try to, you're kind of, that's probably in the district. But then maybe something else. You could, because you have two areas, in some districts you work in these two. But you're really thinking about how you support students so that they're,
Whenever you have something, you want to run it by.
great results.
I'll
Covers, you know, all the jobs. We're seeing all that stuff is lost chart.
buy whatever.
Sorry.
All right, well, that might be an action. Start with goal. I'll stop by. Not that I have.
They are going almost now, stuff like that. You know, it's.
No, it's a kid.
And how we're going to do that is to provide initial provide the necessary resources
Student versus
Hey, we're gonna, as we talked about before, we're gonna give you like a 15-minute time break here. If you need some additional time, let us know. If you need some help, let us know. There are lots of examples.
Sad because it's been It really bothers me. That's
Well, I'm not even better. If you need an extra sheet, if you're ready to start out with
I think they get one month there.
now, the one thing if you look at our examples in there, we say that objectives, as much as possible, specific measurable. So, you want to be thinking about, and if you can't, I agree with the data, at least have five. Various funding. All that gets filled in, ultimately, that goes to the school board. So, And how are you gonna know they can accomplish their objectives? So they Okay, folks, we're going to take just a quick time out here because what we're seeing, and it's just fine, a number of you are working into objectives right now. So I want to make sure that we talk through objectives. And you probably looked ahead, you certainly can read and see some things there, but
Jesse thinks maybe your microphone is off, if you click it off by any chance?
does it work? Can't hear it?
No.
Okay, so the objectives, obviously, again, if we talk about that cascading down approach, they support the goal, they compel action, and we want you to think about putting them in, so if the goal is going to occur, this has to happen, this has to happen, and this has to happen, if that makes some sense. We think that they should be specific as possible. They're kind of enabling goals. Generally, you need more than one objective to meet your goal. We're not going to worry about being totally smart, but what we do want to talk about is that they should be, as much as possible, time-bound. And you should have a way to say, we know that it happened, so it's measurable, and that you know then that will come back to achieve your goal. And then, this is just a comparison between goals and objectives. You can look at that in your packet. Some action verbs, sometimes that helps if you're struggling with how to phrase something. And then we have a number of examples. You can find your specific area, and then there will be some example objectives past that. So again, since some of you are already there, that's just fine. We jumped ahead a little bit. Questions or comments or thoughts? So we're going to try to make sure that
Test.
we're going to say 10, between 10 and 5-2, you have your goal or goals written. And then we'll come back to objectives. But if some of you already have your goals, go ahead and start continuing that discussion on objectives.
Jeff? Shut it off for now, baby.
Probably numbers. Does that finance
Want our objectives on a different sheet, or does it matter?
You can put them on the same sheet if it works. And then just continue them on the next sheet. So, That's Chris, no, it doesn't matter.
Would that be enhance the work of staff? You can narrow the digital divide, staff that is
That's a lot. It's really tough. The state has worked hard on the state. Yeah. That's a lot. We're not changing 5 years.
And you can probably
Yeah, because
how do you show that technology?
Do we always have them up until?
How do you measure that?
Is there anybody who needs more time on the goal?
So do we say in the back?
Okay. Are you guys good on your goals? We'll share these out in 5 minutes.
I mean, I know that.
because we, for the last 2
That was what I had originally
If I can hit the students.
Well, you can imagine your line class next year.
Oh, then she sounds like no. No. Either, and I've been to a meeting and no, we're almost there. I didn't know there was that yet. Okay. We want that to be the. Yeah.
A lot of them just go to
There's some more markers here.
Here's one that I kind of like, develop lifelong learners. Because by these devices, research on your own.
So how are you going to measure that?
I think we should put them in there. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Sorry.
But you're right, that.
Are we ready? Everybody ready with your goals? 2 minutes. All right.
Here's one that we have.
How would you, how you do? Okay. So as soon as you're done, right, again?
Create a digital environment where students are taught thinkers, problem solvers, collaborators.
Okay, like we've done in the past, identify somebody who's going to be your spokesperson and post those goals. If you've got them ready, post them in the room somewhere where people can see them. You guys ready to stick it up here? You guys ready to post your goals? Oh, your goals are up there. Great.
We're amazed at the person.
Boy, we've even got multiple colors there. Okay, who would like to go first? Okay, you're up. We're ready to go. Student achievement and student support. Like we've done before, listen, be thinking about, if you have any questions or if there's anything there that you think needs more clarification or could slightly be tweaked, again, honoring the work of the group. Okay.
Well, we thought we were done within about the first 2 minutes because we were going to just simply use the world's best workforce. But then as we started to talk a little bit, we felt like we needed to so our student achievement goals are the first 2 goals, and then we felt like we needed something in regards to student support. And so the first one is achieve the goals of the world's best workforce for all students. The second one is to increase the academic achievement of all students through effective instruction, a challenging and engaging curriculum, and aligned assessments. And then our third one in regards to that student support piece is to identify barriers to learning and provide intervention and support. We felt like that was pretty broad and could encompass a lot of needs. So that might mean EL, it might mean poverty, it might mean a number of things that we would identify. Each site might have something a little different in terms of what their barriers are, but that would be our goal, is that we would identify those and then provide that intervention and support.
Okay. What kind of questions, comments, or clarification does anybody have? Is there anything there that you wonder about, or does it seem clear?
We also liked that the World's Best Workforce one would also put that out there for all staff to be better or to be more knowledgeable about and really align our efforts. We feel like, well, we know we're going to do work with the World's Best Workforce anyway, so why not align our efforts rather than having a plan for this and a plan for that?
Great.
Just makes sense.
Thank you. Let's pass it over to that particular group for the workforce.
We need this? Wow. All right, we are overachievers and have 3 of them. Not really. Marshall Public Schools will develop and implement practices to attract and retain a diverse and qualified teaching staff. And we have some ideas on how to do that, but we'll get into that next. Identify, recruit, develop, and retain excellent staff. Prepare college, career, and life-ready students. So we wanted to focus on not just the people that work for the school, but the people that will come out of the school and be prepared for their workforce.
And that might tie a bit in with where you're at. So any questions or clarification or comment there?
Really?
Okay, let's move it over to 21st century.
So that last one actually ties in well with ours, and I kind of like your, we're trying to figure out 21st century skills, a better way to say that so anyone can understand them. And I do like what do you have, college, career, and life-ready skills. But that was our goal number 2. Students will develop the 21st century skills needed for success. And really, I think we're talking about the same thing. The first one we had was Marshall Public Schools will provide a plan to increase opportunities for all learners that helps them explore a variety of post-secondary education and career options. So some students will go right to work following high school. Others will get a 2-year degree or a certificate. Others will get a 4-year degree. But there needs to be a plan in place for them to do that, which probably ties back in with the world's best workforce as well.
Questions or thoughts there? With your permission, what we'll probably do when you developed your objective work is merge number 3 there and number 2 there.
Well, and the other thing I guess I wasn't sure about was, do we want them to be student-centered? You know, because you can flip these around. It's semantics if they're goals or objectives. So, you know.
You could work that into that.
Right.
As an example, right? Carrie, anything or Gail, anything else on that idea? Any other questions? Okay, facilities and finance.
So we just used basically the example that was given because it kind of said what we wanted to say, and we weren't into wordsmithing. We just wanted to convey the idea. So to develop and implement a multi-year facilities and financial plan that supports the strategic goal. It's a pretty simple goal.
Okay, questions there?
And with a committee of 2, it doesn't take long to come up with an idea.
All right, we're our enrollment and marketing. We said Marshall Public Schools will have a multifaceted communication plan that effectively engages parents and community stakeholders to promote the quality education programs provided by the district.
Anybody there?
I can read it slower. It was long. I only had a time limit, I thought.
Okay, good to go. Let's talk about technology.
Well, our first conversation was that there's a lot of schools that don't even teach cursive writing anymore. So thanks to Marcia and her fantastic writing. But we just used, as they did, the example, maximize the use of technology to enhance the work of staff and increase the academic achievement of students. We just thought that said it all for technology.
Anybody questions there? Okay, so now you're back into those objectives. And also, if you work your way through the objectives, spend some time thinking about those action plan considerations. Now, one of the things I want to be clear about, the action plan considerations will be part of the working draft governance document that will come back to the district by the end of this week or the beginning of next week. But ultimately, that column drops off when it's the working plan, excuse me, when it becomes the strategic planning governance document for the district. Because there you're talking about beliefs, mission, vision, goals, objectives. But the administration and school board, whoops, sorry about that. You didn't do this yet. The administration and school board will have received this working draft that'll have the action plan considerations, and that's really powerful, I think. So any questions here? You're doing a great job. You're working hard. Keep it up. What I did do is I did. Yeah, I mean, your objectives you want to do, right, and they wouldn't, the daycares are always front-loaded in the first year and a half, so one thing that we'll ask the board, we'll put in with the administration of the board and talk about how should these be planned out over 3 to 5 years, those broad objectives. And then the action should be where you come up and say, no, really the specifics, it might be a casual conversation, well, that'd be good to do, or make that, hire somebody. We want to track your it's a consideration there. So another way is one thing is objectives you would have in place in order to make their goal. Eventually, right now, you can put time to it. Just at some point, all the same.
Interested in learning. Interested. You're gonna answer and you take it in ten. But I think it does make them more critical thinkers in how they research their own. They don't necessarily have to have it. Which I think is. How do we? And that's where I recommend.
You know, when it goes through the board.
Get right on that. Actually, tonight.
Yeah.
What do you see your young kids?
Well, that's one of the things that identify people that can effective measure the use of technology, increase the mission. So there are some schools, I just wanted to, I'm familiar with this. They have as part of their water plan for administrators, they go in and whether or not it's something that's really transformational or if it's just the same thing that you could have done on a chalkboard or a whiteboard. Or work at the yeah. So you're really looking at yeah. Exactly. So one person I heard one time called it, you can put up whatever number you want and put $750. If you're just, you can do this with your projector. So that's way of technology, and that's not impressive. So you want to find a way. So there's, it's called the SAMR model. It's just one substitution, adaptation, modification, and redefinition.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit. Not all of it.
So getting a way to measure, and then putting that measure in place, and then I know my wife was a teacher, they said, oh, the technology team, that was freaking she wasn't doing it, she was teaching other people, so part of the fun that tech coaches actually go and teach lessons with assistants.
Yeah, sounds good.
That was for each.
Yeah, they just know that we already do. Well, don't go there. Let others wrestle with that. Don't touch around the idea that you want to develop a training plan that assures each staff member gets the required training they need as an objective level. That's okay. And then you can start talking about the, you have the dashboard for that, or the dashboard. There's a set of 5-6 courses for technology, or there's how to write online courses, that type of thing. That can come down the road a lot too. That makes sense. Think about it. To assure that every staff member has the skills necessary to use technology in their classroom or at their workstation. And then you can start under action consideration. Most of the things you might want just to, like parenthetical, here's the thing have the dashboard or whatever feels right
But
They're both really good.
I don't know. You and I. How many other guys do we have? Student engagement. Do you know what the SNAP hours
Basically, it's a weird where you're augmenting
Oh, yeah, this is the city council, because Bob Burns is a mayor, yeah, we work together, he was, there you go, yeah. That's interesting, I would, yeah. Intervention.
It's a, yeah, we have to
Of course.
Good working group over here. I can tell what happened to your fundraising. What the hell with
It took 10 minutes.
very team oriented.
We threw out one idea and let's see if we can be on target here at 7:30. That'll be our goal. If we need more time, just let us know. Really what you're looking at, you're going into some of the new high schools being built right now. They've got collaborative stations all throughout the rooms. They got 4 or 5 collaborative stations. If you're a teacher in the building, you're spends very little time as a traditional chalkboard. So you're a group that's there together. You're working on a problem and solving that problem, and then presenting it, and you can present it where you are, put it up on the big screen to share it. Like what you're doing right now, except you've got technology making that work. And, you're searching some other it's just all, and that's the way that, so someone shared with me, their daughter, I think, just entered the Carlson School of Management and Business at the University of Minnesota, and they took the parents to watch what they were doing. That's what he says, they're all involved. None of them were in a lecture hall, they were all involved in small groups. And they have technology all over the place. Put together their work, share their work, edit and audit their work. It's pretty cool.
Media center, they built all these little classrooms. They have
And they read on the glasses. You see that kind of thing. University of Michigan Medical School got to the medical library. Terry, talk about that. James Williscroft is here. Remember that? University of Michigan Medical School. Oh, mean, there's nothing in there. Yeah, yeah. You would be everything electronic.
Open the window.
And that's where technology can come in, because then you're working together. So it really becomes student-generated presentation. The kids learning from each other. The teachers are Yep, that's it. Yep, that's it. And that's what they're doing. So that's kind of where you, like, if you really have technology, in my opinion, work it effectively, that's what you're doing. Yeah, yeah. And that might be an action plan consideration. Put that in.
Yeah, you could get that, yeah, I would say. There you go. Develop and implement plan and measure.
Digital equity, that's the digital divide. Professional development, student engagement. You're going to find put the 4 C's down on the yeah, I think that's good. The only other one, and I can't remember what your district is at, to be honest with you. Sometimes one of the first pieces is you have in place the infrastructure, hardware, software, and Wi-Fi reliability. Because the worst thing that can happen is you get all of this stuff ready, and the teachers are a little nervous anyway, and now they're concerned that or the students. Yeah, so that's. Is your district the one who gives sends kids on this? We're going to try to look at 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That could be a one-word objective. That's very important.
Gotta be in there. Some districts end up, let's pull a ton of money into a one-to-one. And then
3 years where they have to replace everything.
then the technology's out there, and then people are frustrated. When I left 3 years ago, one of my, what I thought
What are we doing?
Okay, let's see if we can be ready in 4 minutes.
You don't want to be like.
Okay, folks. We're going to start here. You guys have the microphone. We have the live stream over here if you want to see yourself and hear yourself.
I don't know about that. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're the Facilities and Finance Group. Once again, our goal is to develop and implement a multi-year facilities and financial plan that supports the strategic plan. So we had two objectives. The first one is develop a multifaceted action plan to educate the community on the specifics of the district and gather information on how to improve facilities. It's kind of long, but what we meant by that, when Mr. Munson presented the first night with all the specifics of the district as far as geographical area, enrollment, grade levels, we were just talking that we didn't know a lot of information, and we don't think the public does either. So we thought maybe we could get that out different avenues such as social media, mail, whatever it may be, and then gather information on how to improve facilities through some type of survey. And the second objective was utilize a 5-year planning process that takes into account enrollment projections, anticipated total funding, and expected expenditures. So that's our finance piece of our objectives.
Questions? Or anybody need any clarification? Very good. 21st century.
So our goals were for Marshall schools to provide a plan to increase opportunities for all learners that helps them explore a variety of post-secondary education and career options. And one of the objectives we have is Marshall Public Schools will provide middle school students the opportunity to participate in career and technical courses. And we got down into our action plan and gave some examples that those would be in family consumer science, technology, ag, health science, and business. And second action plan would be for Marshall Public Schools to use tools such as the ACT Explore Plan, etc., to prepare students. Our other goal, which we're kind of hoping to steal some language from them about developing 21st century skills. The high school career and tech ed courses will be developed with business partners to assure they meet the economic needs of the community and region. I know the first night we talked that sometimes courses are developed at the high school level based on the interest of the instructor and not necessarily of the economic needs of the community. And some action plan considerations were to make sure we're incorporating life skills into all coursework and that you don't just take one class and hope to get all the life skills in it, that you're getting bits and pieces of that throughout your K-12 career. And that another action plan area was to make sure that we have active advisory committees for each of the career and technical education programs that include community members.
Anybody questions there? Any clarification? Okay, let's keep rolling.
You guys want to vote? There you go. Really? They're all your ideas. All right. I got voted. All right. Our objectives are to target the 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019 school years, to expand Marshall Public School applicant searches outside of our regional recruiting area. So basically what we mean by that is to go outside the 5-state area and look for applicants that may not come here. There's a recruiting service that they've used through the co-op that they've used some. and to expand some of those services, probably get a different applicant pool. By 2018-2019, Marshall Public Schools will work with local partners to develop a Grow Your Own teaching program. We think that that could really increase the diversity in the school. Did you say there's such a thing as a Grow Your Own where there's some money available and certain things like that? So we don't really know how it works exactly, but I think it's a good idea. Next one, we'll reduce the number of new teachers by 5% that choose to leave the district within their first 5 years. So some ways to do some surveys, look at things, why do people leave, what can we do to help with that? And last, assess the professional development program for staff. So not just for teachers, but for staff also.
Okay. Anybody there? All right, great. Student achievement and student support.
Okay. For our goal of world's best workforce, our objective is to meet annual goals, school readiness, grade level literacy, achievement gap, graduation, and college career preparedness. And so these are the guidelines based on the world's best workforce. Academic achievement goal is annually implement effective research-based intervention practices to close achievement gap, provide an ongoing professional development to increase teacher capacity to meet the needs of all learners, ensure annual academic growth, and high achievement for each student. Our next goal and our objectives for that goal is each site completes a needs assessment to identify barriers to learning. Based on the needs assessment, a plan will be developed to address those needs. So.
Very good. Anybody have any questions there? Okay.
Yeah, our group was technology, and our goal was to maximize the use of technology to enhance the work of staff and increase the academic achievement of students. In our objectives, we had develop a plan to further narrow our digital divide so they have equal access to technology, both at home and when they're on a bus or whatever. Anything we could do to narrow that digital divide. Objective number 2 was to develop a training plan to ensure every staff member has the skills to use technology in their classroom. And our third one was develop and implement a plan to measure student engagement with their technology. I wrote down here the 4 C's. That's a measurement that we see with technology: communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. A tool to measure how they use technology in those ways. And a fourth objective would be sustainability. We have it now, but sustaining that is a challenge.
So I think you kind of said it, I think in a different way, but those objectives are good, but equity, professional development, student engagement, sustainability. Questions? Great. Communication and marketing.
All right, so ours was communication plan, engaging parents, community stakeholders, just kind of promoting ourselves. We talked about how we don't do a very good job in education at that, and trying to get business and community partners to be part of that. So we said we'd start off the first year creating a team to audit our current plan. What do we do right now? Communication out. What do we get out? And how do we deal with it? And then developing throughout the next year, developing and recommending communications plan to administration and the school board. Doing some surveys of districts, other districts, that see what they do. Talk to businesses. How do they promote themselves? Businesses are much better at marketing than schools are. Surveying parents and stakeholders, find out what they want to know and how they'd like to hear it. So we're not just doing what we think, but what do people actually say? Here's the best way to communicate with them. And then creating communication director position by July of next year. So we'd have to, after we get kind of these things together, we thought we can have a job description and then post that position, try and hire that position.
Anybody?
Do other school districts have that?
I don't know.
Okay. So any comments, you've had a few minutes now, you've kind of gone around the room. Any comments or questions on anything that you see up there?
I have one on this academic achievement. Our last strategic plan, we actually put numbers to that. Is that something? Is that part of an action plan, or is that?
Yeah. So you get into like if I'm guessing in your world's best workforce too, Scott, you'll get at that. Percentages, close the achievement gap by within your identified subgroups. I think that would probably be in your action plan. Yeah, that's a great point. So the next steps are, I'm going to back up one here. I want to come back to this document that we looked at the very first meeting we had. So the work of the school board is above the line in terms of adopting a strategic planning governance document. That strategic planning governance document is going to have the belief statements that you worked on, your mission statement, your vision statement, your focus areas, your goals and objectives. We're also going to honor, as we talked about, your action plan considerations, those things that you've written down and identified. And those will be out in front of the staff and administration as they start to develop those action plans. Once that document is adopted, and what we do see, by the way, is it does go through a couple of other reiterations, maybe a little bit of wordsmithing here and there as it goes over the next couple of steps before it hits the school board at that July board meeting. And there may be some more specific dates. One of the things that Terry and Gail and I see a lot in the strategic plans is everything gets front-loaded. So everybody wants to see everything done at the same time. It's just not possible to do that in terms of the staff power and in terms of the financial power of the school district. So the idea is that this is a 5-year flexible strategic plan. I think you've got lots of stuff to chew on, a lot of really great ideas and directions for the district to move ahead. So the next step then will be to put together, once the school board adopts that strategic planning governance document, to put in place action plans for each of these areas and for each of those goals and objectives. And those start getting into the very specific things that we talked about. It addresses operations, procedures, processes, measurements, specifics, reporting, how it all comes back. I'm going to turn it over to Terry.
So just a sense of how we've seen these be successful before. And you've worked with action plans before, or strategic plans before, but we encourage districts to look at a review cycle, to gather feedback. It becomes part of your annual agendas. It becomes part of your district, your board, administrator, teacher conversation. That's how you keep it live. That's how you keep it from gathering dust on the shelf and everything. So our next steps here now is that we will take the information that we have tonight. We'll get a working draft together for early next week so that you're ready to give us feedback on that draft and try to get a final document to you for the 19th then, so that you have a chance to bring that to the board for your first reading. In that time, the board will, as you normally do, take your action on mission, vision, beliefs, goals, and objectives. And then, as Jeff talked about earlier, move into that action planning. From MSBA's point of view, we will check back in a year from now just to kind of see what's been happening, if there's things that we can assist with, questions that you might have, and certainly anytime along the way we'll answer those too. But as part of this process, we'll come back, or we'll have a conversation with Scott probably in June of 2018 then. So questions on that all in terms of next steps here? So we take all the information, we'll put it into a working draft, get it out early to the district here on Monday, look for some feedback, and have it ready for your board meeting on the 19th.
We usually say that prior to that camera-ready plan on a page going to the school board for adoption, it will be sent out to the committee.
Right.
We will be kept in the loop about how this thing is progressing.
Well, Gail and Jeff and I want to thank you for your energy. You've accomplished a lot in 3 meetings here. We hope sincerely that it kind of guides your district for the next 3 to 5 years. And MSBA is available to support you in any way that you might need our help, our assistance. So thank you very much for a very productive time here. We appreciate it. Scott?
I'm good without that. Let's give our folks from MSBA if you're a non-staff member or a staff member, you can see Mr. Lamprecht to fill out your payment voucher before you go for participating in. Oh wait, that's right, Bruce. I'm sorry. He gave me the look there. Seriously, this has been a good process, and it's so good to hear outside perspectives, if you will. You know, I think I hope our board members are able to share all the good things and discussions and ideas that were generated during our meetings, and this gives us direction, and hopefully it's direction that's reflective of our community. And you know, I look forward to the action plan stuff because I'm kind of an action plan person. But excellent job. Thank you so much. I'll continue to keep you updated. There may be, I wrote some notes. There might be some things along the way that we can't do all of these things. You know, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, but I look at this and my mind starts swimming. So we may have to do some prioritizing, and I might reach out to all of you and say, you know, here's 12, 13, 18 different things. How would you prioritize them, and what would be your top choice in each one? And not that if one of these ends up sliding to the bottom of the list that we forget about it, because I like to keep it on sort of a let's look at in the future as we monitor and develop that cycle that they talked about, either Jeff or Terry. So thanks a lot. Have a great summer. I'll email you hopefully later this week or early next week with the draft of some of this information, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much. Have a great night. Take some sandwiches or wraps.